Hello YouTubers and welcome to Novus Talks with me, your host Novus Gorvius. And in this video we're going to talk a bit more about Spiral from the Book of Saw, because there's some details I want to go over. Two details specifically, as you can tell from the title. One of them is in relation to Detective Hoffman from the first 7 Saw movies, well specifically 4 up to 7. And the other is in relation to Billy the Puppet. I'm going to focus on the bit about Hoffman first. I was originally going to do this as a separate video. I had this idea going around in my head for a while, but I decided I wanted to throw it all together into one video, so I could make a longer video and it would make I could gather my thoughts more easily, and I could cover more stuff, obviously, more ground. So we'll go into the stuff about Hoffman first, because there's a bit of confusion and obviously speculation about what might be going on in relation to Detective Hoffman. So first of all, obviously, what do we know about Spiral from the Book of Saw in terms of locations? From the trailer and from some of the behind the scenes and the sets, we can tell it's going to be revisiting a lot of the old trap locations from the previous movies. There's going to be references to Edgar Munson, we can tell, and it looks like we're going to be going back to the bathroom from the first Saw movie and from 7. Now that bit's very important because obviously that's the last known location of Hoffman. So I'm going to bring up two things here. People are always wondering, like, oh, ever since Saw the final chapter came out, if Hoffman's actually dead. And so people were wondering, like, oh, maybe it might be addressed in this film and he might come back. But I'm going to define that definitively for you now, based on the evidence we actually have. So first off, the first bit I want to bring up, and this is sort of what I see as the nail in the coffin. That pun came out accidentally. The nail in the coffin for the story of Detective Hoffman is this picture from behind the set on Spiral. This sort of came out, I want to say, was it whenever the movie was filming, or it might have been around summer, late, might have been going into September or whatever, but that picture came out. Josh Stolberg put it on Twitter, and I believe Darren Lynn Bousman had it posted on his Instagram as well. But this picture anyway, it's Josh Stolberg in the picture next to a bunch of mannequins. And if you look at them, maybe it's just me and a few of the other people that agreed, but it looks to be exactly like Detective Hoffman, is what we were wondering about when we first saw this image come out. We were wondering, like, what the hell could this be? And it, not to mention the fact that the background of the picture almost looks like that iconic bathroom as well. So it could be, based on what we know from Spiral, that they are going back to that location. We're going to see all the other bodies from there. Adam, Zepp, I can't even remember, the other guy in Saw 2 had like his throat slit. But all the bodies of the people that have died in that room will probably be there, and of course Hoffman, if he's actually dead. But this seems to hint that, yeah, he's going to be dead, or at least unconscious enough that they needed a mannequin of his body, because that looks right down to the haircut almost exactly like Hoffman. Now, the next piece of evidence about Hoffman being dead is this tweet again by Josh Stolberg. He's sort of like the main source of information about the movie, really, when you think about it. And this won't be the last time that I mention him in this video, don't worry. This tweet, he mentions, he was asked by a fan of Saw 2 and 4 whether Hoffman would be mentioned in any sort of way or alluded to in Spiral. His exact words, as he mentions, that he won't be, in inverted commas, ignored, but that he won't be involved in the storyline, or at least all that much. So he won't be ignored, which means it's not like the film's trying to pretend he didn't exist, but he won't play a part in the storyline. Now, what I take that to mean is, you know, if they go back and revisit the bathroom location, they're going to find his body in there, and maybe that's like the biggest clue, you know. It's going to be like, because that wouldn't be part of the storyline, it also wouldn't be ignoring. It would be addressing that he's dead, but it wouldn't play a part in the storyline. It would just be sort of like a visual Easter egg for the fans. So yeah, I mean, you might all have a different interpretation on that compared to me, but for me, those two pieces of evidence seem to solidify the fate of Mark Hoffman. Who knows, maybe something else about the movie will surface and we'll see that he's actually alive, but I doubt it. And I believe there's also audio commentary for Saw the Final Chapter that I think was cut out maybe, but it mentioned that, he was left to die in the bathroom with no way out. So yeah, obviously they could retcon it, but it seems pretty safe to bet that he's dead. I'm willing to admit I'll be wrong, but it would be bringing back an old storyline that's finished, and I can't imagine him doing that. So I think he's out of the way, he's dead. So I hope that, if any of you didn't know that information, I hope that clarified a few things for you. Probably crushed your dreams of seeing him return in a future movie, but, Or he could be in a flashback, you never know. He could show up in a flashback or something. We'll see. Probably not in this film, based on what Josh said, but yeah, with that out the way, that was sort of like the main bit I wanted to say. That's why I was going to put this into this video. I didn't want to do it separately because it would seem kind of short and not much else to fit in with it. But with that out the way, the main point of the video I wanted to get to is in relation to Billy the Puppet. Because we had a bit of confusion when we watched the trailer for Spiral for the first time. We see a metro and we do see a doll in the background in the distance I think it's on a chair or something, and you see like the flashlight illuminates it. But we weren't sure if this was Billy, and the more we looked at it, the more it didn't appear to be Billy. Now, I just assumed either this was Billy or that, maybe it was just some new doll made to mimic Billy, but the solidifying piece of information I got from this, I must give a shout out here actually. I'm going to give a shout out to, just because I know him by his Instagram name, Ty Bordock, hope I pronounced that right. He sent me a link to a video by 3C Films, which talks about a tweet, again by Josh Stolberg, about the doll. It's sort of a sarcasm, it's very sarcastic, but he talks about the doll not being like Billy and being something new. In a very sarcastic way. It's kind of hard to figure out at first, but for the most part, it looks like that they're trying to say that there is a new doll, or that Billy isn't the main doll, or that he won't be in the movie. And I have some things to say about this. This kind of ruins the movie for me. I hate to be so negative, but if you're taking out, okay, we know John Kramer, well, we don't know, but he doesn't seem to be playing a major part in this, at least not for the main bit of the film, at least not in present day. And now we know Billy the Puppet is not going to be in there. Obviously, as 3C Films brings up, it makes sense since Billy's associated with John and this new puppet would be associated with the Spiral Killer. But I don't like this. This is replacing iconic elements with things that are exactly the same. And I hate to compare it to this, but just because it's the most recent thing on my mind I can compare it to, I know there's plenty other movies. Terminator Dark Fate did the exact same thing. Got rid of the iconic elements, brought in the exact same things, but gave it a new name, a new look. But it was essentially the exact same, but worse. And, that failed horribly. That did not work out. And now it's looking like Spiral's going to do the exact same thing. And it's concerning, and I don't know. Sure, Spiral could definitely do it a hell of a lot better than what Terminator did, but you're throwing out the Jigsaw Killer, replacing with the Spiral Killer, throwing out Billy, replacing with a new doll, and there's probably other things as well. At what point do you have to draw the line? At what point does it no longer become Saw and just ends up being something completely different? I feel like, I want the movies to continue with a coherent storyline, but and I mentioned this before, if like Jigsaw and this, and if we're getting this disjointed storyline, I don't want to see it continue. Saw has always been known for being extremely coherent and detailed and intricate. These new movies aren't looking up to be that way, and if we're just replacing elements here and there to make it new without it having really connect in a proper way, then what's the point, you know? I hate to say it because I love Saw, and it's definitely a story that has potential to keep going, but which is, you know, not something you can say for the majority of movies at all in general, but Saw is an anomaly here. But now, you know, if they're pulling this card, then why bother continuing if you're just gonna, if you're gonna ignore the storyline you established and just throw it out the way and bring in all these new elements that don't really connect at all to this, then why bother? Just stop. That's all I have to say. It has dampened my expectations for the movie when I saw this, and you know, I'm still going to see it, obviously, and I'm excited for it. But seeing that, it just brought my mood down, and now I'm thinking, like, is there even a point? Do I even care to see it at this point? And I hate this to sound so negative, especially if in the rare chance that Josh or anyone involved with the movie is watching this. I hate to be negative, and I know it's not maybe some of your specific faults, but these little things, I can understand you doing them from the point of view of it fitting within the context of the film, but within the bigger franchise at whole, it doesn't run smoothly like the first 7 movies did. I'm glad we're getting, you know, continuation from Jigsaw to Spiral in the sense that we have this cult idea, but that seems to be it. We're going in a completely different direction with very little connection. Okay, Hoffman won't be ignored, but, you know, technically kind of it still is, because it's just going in a direction that was never meant to be. And I hate to say it, but maybe in a way the final chapter was really the final chapter. It was the end of the, I'm not going to say real, but the original storyline, and now we're in a, I don't even know where we're going anymore. But yeah, that's just how I feel about it. It's dampening my expectations. Maybe I'll go into the movie and it'll turn out to be the best one. That's what I could hope for, but I can easily see myself going in now and just coming out just not caring or being disappointed. They still have a couple of months, 2 months to change my expectations, assuming the movie doesn't get cancelled, or sorry, delayed, like most other movies. But we'll see. Enough about my feelings on the matter. What about the actual detail itself? What about the doll? So Billy won't be in it, or at least won't be the main doll in it. We have this new doll. I've heard, apparently, I don't know how true this is, that it's going to resemble a pig in some way, which, you know, might be a sort of mockery of the fact that this killer is going after cops. Makes sense, and it does tie to the Saw aesthetic, the Saw like theme. But still, like it's going to be a killer that's replicating John, and it's going to have its own doll, and it's probably its own signature trademark. In this case, the spiral instead of the jigsaw piece. You know, I'm trying to be positive here, but I hate to say it, but I don't care. I really don't care. Like, I want proper Saw to continue, and I'm trying to be like positive here about it, but I really couldn't care about some killer that's trying to mimic it. I know that's what the last 6 movies have been, but I want Saw that's in line with what we've had before. I don't want something that's like trying to be Saw but is not Saw, which is what we're getting, and it's bugging me a lot. But yeah. That's really all I have to say. I'm kind of speechless on it. I hope, you know, I imagine Billy will be there in some way. Maybe we get a kind of flashback to John and we see him like painting the spirals on the doll like we did in Saw 4. I could see them doing that. And now that I think about it, you know, spiral comes from Billy having the spirals on his cheeks. So yeah, it just seems very, I hate to say the word disjointed. Originally I was going to make this more discussion based. This video was going to go completely different, but when I say this information out loud, it just gets to me, and I can't hold it up. I have to let it out for what I actually feel about it. And I don't know if some major new piece of information comes out, which probably will, then maybe my opinion on the matter will change. But yeah, other than that, I've nothing else to say. I don't care that the killer is making his new doll, trying to pretend to be John. It's like you might as well just make your own franchise as a knockoff of Saw instead of just trying to make it Saw but not actually Saw. But yeah, I'm going to leave it about there because I can just repeat myself and ramble on all night about this. Once again, big shout out to TY Bordock for this information. Thank you so much for sending me that link and for engaging with me in conversation about the movie. I'm thinking about doing shout outs a bit more regularly. You know, I've done 2 already, I think, before this. I might do them, you know, maybe weekly or something. We'll have to see, you know. If any of you guys, you know, want to throw information my way or want to discuss things, you know, you can comment down below. You can message me on, you know, Instagram or Facebook, whatever. Even on Discord, I have a Discord as well. I'll give that to anyone who's interested. And we can just talk anything, you know, whether it's Saw or any of the other things I talk about on the channel. Yeah, I'm up for it. If you like a shout out on the channel, that's a great way to get you motivated. But yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. What do you all think about this information? What are your opinions on Billy being replaced? Does it bother you like it bothers me? What do you think about Hoffman? Is he actually dead, or are they trying to allude to something else going on here? Let me know down in the comment section below. So yeah, with that all said, thank you all for watching, and please subscribe. Noah Scorbius out.